Hi guys, this is Raju Rahman from Tectonic, and today what I've got here is the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. I wasn't sure if I was going to get this phone, but since I got the S9 Plus last year, I thought I'll go ahead and buy this. And I'll, at some point after I've done this unboxing video, I'll do a comparison with that. This box is pretty much the similar size as what you'd expect with most Galaxy phones. So let me just take this apart. So you can see this is the European model. That's pretty easy to take apart. And straight away you can see the phone here. So just looking at this, if I were to compare it to, I guess, last year's S9 Plus, if I leave this aside for a second, you can see they are practically the same size. And I'm sure there's a difference on paper, but here you can see, looking at it visually, there isn't much of a difference. So let me put that aside. Take all this plastic off. So this is the 8GB RAM variant. I believe it's got 120GB of storage. It's also running on the Exynos 9820 chipset. I believe it has a 4100 mAh battery. So let me turn this on, and then we'll look at what other stuff is in the box. Let's put that aside for the moment. So Samsung's latest adaptive fast charging power block or power brick, a standard USB to USB-C adapter, standard USB to USB-C cable, and a micro USB to USB-C adapter. So I guess you can use that, if you've got old micro USB cables lying around, you can use that to charge the phone. And you've got some AKG headphones here, and they seem to be braided, so that's pretty good. Another thing I nearly missed in the box, I guess I was too excited with the phone. You've got this, on the back you've got the SIM ejector tool. And then you've got various leaflets inside, so a quick start guide, a warranty card, regional lock guide, how to transfer data over, or your apps and your content from your previous phone onto this phone. And that's pretty much that. That's done for the contents. So here's the phone itself. Obviously I haven't set up a lock screen password or a fingerprint at the moment. Straight as I started up the phone and signed into my Gmail account, it's doing all these updates, and that's something you'd expect. So I have noticed the UI has changed since I've last used the Galaxy phone. I believe it's called the One UI. So the last time I used the S9 Plus or the Note 9, I hadn't received that update at that point, but it certainly does look a lot better, and I can see certain things are at the bottom of the screen. So here I can see the brightness controls at the bottom, so that's pretty cool. It's easier to get to. So you've got the volume control on the left. You've got the infamous Bixby button here, which I hear you can now, although not completely disable, you can map a single press or a double press to something else. I don't believe you can remap that to a different voice assistant, so you'll still have to keep Bixby on there. And then you've got the power button here on the right of the phone, which does seem like it's a bit high up there, so you're gonna have to sort of shimmy the phone to get there. Of course, there's no fingerprint sensor on the back of the phone. That's because now it's built right underneath the screen. So, you know, once we set it up, actually, let's go ahead and do that. Let's set up a fingerprint. Let me set up a pin first. So now that I've set up a pin, I can add my first fingerprint. Again, I have to confirm it. So now that I've confirmed it, I guess I can go forward and add a fingerprint. So it's certainly not as fast as your traditional fingerprint sensor, as in setting it up. Okay, so now I need to rotate my finger slightly each time that I do it. And that's done. So now if I were to lock the phone, I can see there's an indicator here to use the fingerprint sensor. And that was pretty snappy. Yeah, that was quite fast. I mean, I guess I would have to compare it with another device with your traditional fingerprint sensor just to see how much of a difference there is between this and that. Of course, you can see there's a punch hole cut out here to house the cameras. I believe it's just a single camera and another one's just a depth sensor, so it can give you that sort of portrait or bokeh effect shot. So I'm not quite sure, you know, I'm not a big fan of notches, so I'll have to see how I get on with this punch hole cutout. Of course, you know, I've been using the Mi Mix 3 recently. This is the phone by Xiaomi, and this one has no notch whatsoever. It sort of houses the front-facing camera behind the screen in the slide out, but you can see that the compromise there is that it catches a lot of dust, and that's not something I'm a huge fan of. So again, you know, there's always, I guess, compromises when you try and increase the size of the screen. In this case, you've got a punch hole cut out, and Samsung did say they weren't going to use a notch, and I guess they've stuck to that, specifically in the UK, I guess. I mean, other regions, they have used those teardrop notches. I guess the notch is more visible when you slide down the notification tray. Again, I'm calling it a notch, but it's a punch hole cutout. And again, Samsung's quite smart here in the way they've used the wallpaper. They've made it slightly darker around the corner, so it's harder to see that cutout. So generally the phone definitely feels snappy. I mean, that's what you'd expect with a new phone. What I do find a bit odd is, you know, these icons, they are huge. I mean, I'm pretty sure the icons weren't that big last time I used a Galaxy phone. I'm hoping there's a way to change the size, although I've not seen or heard anyone mention that it's possible. Of course, I never use the launcher that comes with the phone, so I'll probably switch to a different launcher at some point. You know, generally the phone does feel very light. It's what you'd expect from a Samsung device. It definitely feels premium. Of course, you know, I've been using the Mi Mix 3 for a little while, and that's a heavy phone, so maybe just going from that to this, it just feels so much better. So here, if I, let me just unlock this. So here we have the S9 Plus next to it. You can see, like I mentioned earlier, it's very similar in size. Of course, another change I've noticed is before, if you look around the edges on the side of the phone, it's darker, whereas now it's more silver. I'm not too sure if I'm a fan of that. I do like the sort of matte black look of this phone, even though it's quite shiny and it's made out of glass. But here you can see it's all silver around the sides. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Of course, Samsung has retained the 3.5mm headphone jack, so that's great. You got a down-firing speaker grill here, and I believe the sound, you get stereo sound on this device. The other part is where on the top here. That's where the sound comes out from. So you get dual channel, I guess, in that sense. Yeah, of course, another big difference between, or an upgrade between the S9 Plus and the S10 Plus is now that you have not just 2 cameras on the back, you've got 3 cameras here. So you've got the standard camera, I guess, and then you've got your telephoto lens. That's one that was already available on the S9 Plus. But what Samsung has done now, following what Huawei Mate 20 Pro had on its phone and a few LG devices, they've put an ultra wide camera lens, and that's pretty cool. So at some point I will be testing that out. You know, I'll be doing a speed test with this phone and the previous iteration of it. So if you want to see that, please subscribe. Of course, if you want to see a camera comparison between these phones, and if you want to see whether it's worth upgrading from this to this, again, please subscribe. I'll be uploading various different videos for the S10 Plus. This has been Raju Rahman from Tectonic. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and it helped you, please subscribe and like. That would really help me out. And don't forget to check out these other videos too.